Hey guys, today we show another restoration project I've been working on, and this video is for Val, who owns this very nice 73 Mini Moog. So just going to go over it for you, Val, sure everything's working, and just give you a good overview. And for you guys that might be interested, this one actually has something a little extra special in it. It's actually a vintage mod. It's a modification that was done back in probably like 1970s, late 70s to early 80s. And it's called the second voice mod. Now I didn't know a whole lot about this modification, and this is my second time to see one of these, but this is the first time I've actually seen one that functioned. And the other one I didn't have a clue what it was, and it was horrible because the way it mounts to the board, it's not real clean. But I took this one and took some time, and it still worked. But what it does is it actually allows oscillator 2 to play in a paraphonic setting, like an ARP Odyssey. So oscillator 1 and 3 will stay on the low notes, and as you play upper notes, oscillator 2 will track the upper keyboard. Very cool modification. So I've actually reverse engineered this thing, and I actually redone this one completely, spec'd all new components to get it into a really tight tolerance. But the problem I found with this particular kit, and it's something I've fought for the last couple of really last 2 weeks trying to get this thing exact, is that I have a tolerance issue because the kit is extremely tight now because I've redone it, but this has the version 2 oscillator which drifts naturally. So there is no real good relation between the oscillator and the circuit, so while this stays stable, the oscillator drifts. So you always get a little detuning effect when you flip the switch, which you'll hear. And it's calibratable. I've calibrated it 100 times, 200 times, I don't know, I lost count. And it's always the same thing. You get it calibrated, and then oscillator 3 or oscillator 2 is always a little bit, different. And of course, I rebuild the oscillator, so it has all, new tolerance components in it for our CV, but it's just natural. It's a thermally sensitive circuit, and so there's sometimes you just fight things because of that nature. But I've got it really close. I've got it where it works very well, and I think I'll be really happy with it, Val. But anyways, went to this one, like I say, rebuilt the key bed assembly, new key bushings, contact cleaning, contact alignment, key travel, all that good stuff. This one also had something else that was really ugly on it, which it had delamination on the interface. And as you can see, I've actually removed the delamination. So this is actually what would have been on the front cover. This is typically what causes all those little bubbles you see in Mini Moogs. And it's not an easy process to remove this. It's a very, very, very tedious job. And it takes a lot of elbow grease once you get it off to get all those glues and everything off. But as you can see, this thing looks 100% better. I mean, that was really part of the ugliness of this unit, was just that interface. Same thing with the LHC. Did the same trick to it. Got that all cleaned up, conditioned the wood. Full calibration, 12-hour burn-in, and it's a really great instrument. I think I'll be really happy with it. All new hardware. The hardware was missing in this particular unit. It had just a few screws holding the back panel on. Cleaned the back panel so it's all nice and clean. Fixed the power cord. The power cord actually was, this cord was replaced by somebody in the past, but they didn't put a strain relief in it. What they did, they just tied a knot inside, which don't ever do that, guys. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. Because what happens is, in this case, the cord started wrapping because you carry it on tour, you're moving around this cord, you don't know really where the original position was, so it just kind of wraps. Well, it starts wrapping your wiring up in there, and it starts pulling on all the wiring on the switches and the fuse holder. And all it would take is one of those wires to break and touch one of the circuit boards, and you've fried your instrument. So don't do that. Just get a strain relief. If it's a little bigger than the hole, just drill the hole out a little bit bigger, like I did in this case, because I know the power cord for these things are not easily available, the size gauge. I think they use 14 gauge, and now most everything's 16 gauge wire. So they are a little bit larger. So take the time just to put a strain relief in there if you're going to redo a Mini Moog. It's that simple, and it saves a lot of future problems. And so that's something I did to this one, and also cleaned up all the wiring because they had just kind of like run the wire back here, and it looked like a rat's nest. So cleaned all that up, and also built a new prop, or installed a new prop. This prop here was made by a friend of mine, And so put it in there, cut it to size because it's a little longer. And also I moved it back here. You can see original holes, and I've got paint in there, and it's actually drying. It still looks a little weird, but once it dries, it'll match the bottom of the chassis. I actually did that this morning, so still a little tacky, so just kind of waiting on that. But the serial number of this unit is 2527. So it's a pretty cool serial number, pretty early. I cannot remember for the life of me what the date code is on this one. I'll post it in the video below, though, or in the description below. I've been working on so many instruments these couple of weeks. Still, I've just about lost my mind here. But anyway, so let me put the camera on the tripod here, and we'll go through the sounds here and just kind of show you how well this thing works here. I think I'll be really happy with it. Like I say, Val, it's a much different instrument than it was when it came in. Of course, this wasn't one of the most horrible Mini Moogs. It would actually still play decently. It was just a little unstable. And of course, the second voice didn't work at all. The second voice was way out. It was way out of tune. But as you can hear, this is all 3 oscillators. The filter closed up a little bit. Now I know you guys are excited to hear the second voice, so I'm going to show you the second voice. We'll flip the switch here, and now we can go. This thing sustain for me a little bit. What I love about this feature, though, is this actually has a toggle switch to shut it on and off. So with it off, it plays like a normal Mini Moog. And that's one thing I do wish the ARP Odyssey had, because sometimes that paraphonic thing gets in the way, especially when you're playing leads. And so now you can go flip that off, and it's just like a normal Mini Moog. And you can also hear that tuning issue I've got, that you just have to bump the oscillator to a little bit sometimes when you flip that on. anyways, you can hear how great that circuit works. Of course, I put the oscillator 3 to a third. But anyways, you can hear how the second voice works. And like I say, I spent a lot of time trying to get that little variance out when you flip the switch, and it's just because of the nature of oscillator 2 being thermally sensitive and the new circuit being extremely tight. You can't control that, unfortunately. And I've tried everything in the book and cannot get that to even out. Mainly because that's just not thermally sensitive, and the oscillator is. That's really what it comes down to. So anyways, I'll go through just like I do normal Mini Moogs. I'll show you all the oscillators work, go through all the waveforms, the footages, and then we'll go through the filter, noise source, all that kind of stuff. Let me get this thing with sustain for me, and we'll just start with oscillator 1 first. And so here's oscillator 1. The volume plots are nice and clean. Oscillator 2. So it's oscillator 2, oscillator 3. And to get the most accurate oscillators, always go to 2 and tune your oscillators up, your oscillator 2 and 3, because that way they match in the high scale, and that way when you go down it's going to match in the actual lower range as well. Anyways, you can hear how great the oscillators work. Go to 32. And now I'll show you the noise source works. So here's the noise source. Clean all the pots here as well. So there's your noise source. And now we'll go through the filter. So I'll show you first of all the filter tracks the keyboard. So we'll put it in self-oscillation. Set here, around 440 hertz. So here's your filter tracking the keyboard. Of course, you can hear the glide works on this. So there's your filter. We'll put on the contour generator for that. Turn down frequency. So you can hear that we have 0 decay. Of course, this is your amount here. So there's your decay, your tack. also got your sustain level. So we put just a little bit of decay on there. Then we set the sustain level. You just have some fun with it like that right there. We can also turn the tracking off the filter. So now we turn these two switches here off. There's no tracking. Tracking 1. Tracking 2. Both of them on. You can hear. So there's your filter. I'll also show you that the loudness control works. So we'll go here and get that set up. We'll turn the oscillators back on here. Open that filter back up. So now we'll set this thing up where it has 0 decay. Just a click. Longer decay time. And we've also got the attack. As you can hear. We've also got the sustain level just like on the filter. You can hear it keeps it from dying all the way out, even though I got a decay set. As you get a real percussive kind of. So there's the envelopes, or the contour generators. Envelope generator, contour generator, same thing, guys. For those that aren't familiar with the naming, most of Moog synthesizers call it the contour. Other synths call it the envelope generator. We've also got the decay switch over here, which you can set off a note no matter how I have it set. Put the decay switch on. And then it'll fall out the decay setting. Holding a note, it'll still decay normally. And when I let off a note, it's just going to follow that decay on out with the decay switch on. Something else I did too to this unit is I actually added the dead zone mod to the pitch wheel, so it's got a true dead center now. But what that does, we'll turn on one oscillator here, turn it up a little bit, and you can actually hear how this oscillator now, when I wiggle in the detent, there's no interaction frequency. Not until I get outside the detent. So as you can hear how that works. We can also change oscillator 3 into LFO source. I'll show you the LFO section works. So I'll first start off with modulating the oscillators. We can also engage noise into the modulation section using the modulation mix. There's a mixture of noise and oscillator. But really, the filter is where I really like to use the noise and the modulation. So we'll put the filter modulation on. We'll close the filter up. There's the noise into the filter. And here you can hear the white and pink noise. We can turn the oscillator back to frequency range. Turn filter tracking off. Turn oscillator tracking off. I just want to take a minute here and go over your Mini Moog, Val. And for anybody else that might be interested in hearing this Mini Moog and a good demo here, as well as that second voice kit. Really cool Mini Moog. But anyways, Val, thanks again. Really appreciate you letting me restore this thing for you. And I appreciate all you guys that watch my videos. It really means a lot to me. Y'all take care, and there'll be more to come here very soon. Take care.